And then, of course, your favorite match of the card next week. It's Jericho versus Hook.
Yeah, just Chris Jericho, once you get past the Judas entrance, is just a pit of despair on television right now. It's just god awful. And I loved Chris Jericho for years. I don't want to just like make this like he's not talented, but sometimes you need to go step away. Like he's got a Fozzy tour coming up. I can't wait for it. Just go on tour with Fozzy for a bit. I just can't wait to not see him on Dynamite for a few weeks. I just nothing against the man, like just as a human, just go away for a bit. Just I'm sick of it. The what have I become and the sing along, it's just forced and stupid. Everybody stopped liking that song over a year ago. But now we got him paired. He was paired with Hook on Dynamite. Now they're gonna have a singles match next week. And just if Hook wins, what does he get out of it? Nobody really cares about Chris Jericho at the moment.
Exactly.
If Chris Jericho beats Hook, Hook looks like an idiot. So it's I just have a huge issue. It's just like a vortex. You just get sucked into this Jericho orbit and nobody comes out the better ever. And whenever you get associated with Jericho as of late, nobody comes out better. But what do you think about this situation?
This is the worst thing I can say about any wrestler, and I'm wondering if you do the same thing. Do you fast forward through Jericho matches if you watch an AEW on a recording?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And again, it's nothing against Jericho, the man. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And his out of the ring stuff aside, he's one of the greatest figures in AEW from a wrestling standpoint. He was the first champion. He came in and did everything, he was supposed to do as the star of that company. And now it's just gotten to a point where I don't care anymore what happens to him, win or lose. And maybe it's because he's kind of a babyface now and he doesn't really have a faction anymore. I believe he's a lot more powerful as a heel guy. He has that corny shtick really down, and maybe this is sort of the start of a turn towards all that. But again, we're getting to the point where he might be the big show turn of the week. Like, I do not care when Chris Jericho is on my television screen, and that's a fall from grace from what he was even a few years back in AEW.
Absolutely, this wasn't always the case. He was awesome. His feud with Cody Rhodes back in the day was great. He's helped make many stars over the year.
Put MJF on the map.
A lot of people didn't like the singing thing. I did. I thought that was funny. A lot of people really hated that. Yeah, I love that too. But Jericho used to have his finger on the pulse of like what was cool or what would get over, and he's just really lost it. And I just would love for him to step away from it for a bit and then find it again, because I think it would help him, and I think it would help the whole situation if like we missed him a little bit and he came back in a couple months.
It's time to talk Uso v. Uso. Bob, I'll let you set this up, my friend. I believe we know what's happening with these two brothers heading into Mania.
Well, yes, Jey Uso issued a challenge this past Monday night on Raw. He challenged Jimmy Uso to a singles match. Now, Jimmy Uso has cost Jey Uso multiple title opportunities, all the way back at the Tribal Combat match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2023. And then last month with Gunther, Jimmy Uso attacked him and cost Jey Uso the title match right after he had a frog splash, or an Uso splash, and looked like he was going to win. So again, brother versus brother. But and I'm interested in this match because the way Jimmy Uso has been portrayed has been as a goof. He's just like the idiot of the bloodline. He's so like, I just don't see a scenario where Jey Uso loses this match. And I think they have a lot of work to do to make this as important as they want it to be, because it's like brother versus brother, Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. But it's like, but Jimmy Uso has been a jobber. So it's like the better brother versus the stiff is how I'm seeing it right now. So they have a lot of work to do to build it up. But this is like, my question to you is, I don't know if you watch WWE, you don't watch it as regularly, but you know of Jey Uso. He's got a huge push. The crowd loves him. Would you ever put him back in the bloodline? Or would you reunite the Usos? I think Jey Uso is kind of stepped out of the Usos in the bloodline shadow and become a single star, and I want to see him win this match and go on to win the IC title or the US title, go on to something bigger. Would you ever reunite the Usos at this point, or put him back in the bloodline?
At this point, no. I think it'd be a step back for Jey Uso if he went back to the bloodline. Reuniting the Usos, yes, but that happens years from now when we actually care about it, because they are one of the greatest tag teams of all time and such a fun team when they're in the ring together. However, for this match in particular, I agree Jey Uso should win. But you need to make Jimmy Uso from now until WrestleMania an absolute threat. And I think he needs to turn very sinister very fast. I think he needs to talk about bloodline. If you take the first part of that word, I think that needs to come into play when these two are fighting each other, because it is a brothers feud. And there is so much there that you can use, fodder that you can use in the video package leading up to this match. to get us on board with how important this is. And I think from the oncoming weeks, and I believe they will do this, I think Jimmy Uso becomes a lot more sinister, a lot more evil, a lot more dangerous very, very fast. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of stipulation on this match as well, and we don't have a straight wrestling match here, because Jimmy needs to even the playing field against Jey, who has proven he's a great singles competitor, and I think he does that via dastardly things.
I think you just solve it. If you make this, give Jimmy Uso one more brutal attack, and I'll see you in a steel cage at WrestleMania or something like that, I'm in. You just solved it for me. Well done, Tony Squares. Yeah, no, it's just a great call. Put a little stipulation, Hell in a Cell, something, or even just no DQ, so you can grab a chair or a kendo stick, something like that, even the odds, because it's just Jey Uso is just so much better as a single star. So yeah, but that's what they need to do for that match.
And I'm excited for it. I love both of these guys. I think I genuinely think they will go this way with the build, and I'm excited to watch this match. I'm excited to care about this match. I love both of these guys, and this is the right pairing for WrestleMania. You know what I mean? When we get to the build to WrestleMania, you look at the past years that have happened. This has been building for a while. This is the correct pairing, and I'm excited to see it finish at WrestleMania. Speaking of correct pairings and what we're going to do at WrestleMania.